And we are live.
Great. Hi, how you doing? This is Richard Karras. I'm General Manager here at Nvidia, and happy to be here this morning to talk about Maxine.
So you showed this amazing technology that I think many people that work in ISPs have been dreaming about, or maybe having nightmares about, because like you can use so much less bandwidth.
Yeah.
To do like 4K. I could do 4K YouTube stream or video conferencing with very little bandwidth, right?
That's one of the great features about it, yes. And using AI to kind of help solve these problems and problems that we're all experiencing these days with video conferencing and, you know, who's got a better bandwidth than the other and background noises and things like that.
So you're able to kind of like take, for example, right now I'm streaming through a laptop, Lenovo laptop, and I can barely do 720, and it's kind of pixelated, and I've got some issues sometimes doing it and stuff like that. But you'll be able to take my face and kind of like stream it out in 4K and like very tiny, like impossible to imagine low bandwidth.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that we can do with the AI. One, we can look at the image that you're putting out and only take from you the things that are changing in that image. Like the background and things aren't changing, so why transmit that? Using AI, we can define these things, these areas that are changing, and just transmit that, which allows for a much lower bandwidth and the ability to increase the resolution on the other side as well. So we can use AI for both of these things.
And there's a bunch of other stuff that's also connected. Like you can also remove noise in the background, or is that's a different thing?
How many?
You can also have like a 3D character animated.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me on the background noise, right? Again, using AI, we can define where the voice is coming from and who should be the prominent one that's speaking. Whereas we all, I think, have experienced as we work from home, background noises, whether it's kids in the background, dogs barking, somebody outside, the AI can understand that and remove that sound and then allow you to just focus on the person talking. And this helps tremendously when you're doing, especially group video conferencing, things like that. And then the other thing that you were seeing here, there's a couple things. Yes, we can use it to drive a character, to drive a different type of an image or something, a cartoon, etc. But what you also saw there was the translation. Now that's really important because a lot of us work globally. So if you're doing a conference and you have people in different parts of the world speaking their language, we can in real time translate that onto the bottom of the screen so that people can continue their conversation in as much of a real time as possible.
What would be awesome is if you could take the person's voice and make them speak the other language and move the mouse in a different way. How far is that?
That is certainly something that people have asked about. We're not there yet. I think these first steps are pretty significant. And because it's a cloud-based solution, the beautiful thing is that everybody, no matter what kind of a system they're using, if the video conferencing company utilizes this technology, then everybody gets to benefit from it, right? So it doesn't matter what system you're on, as long as that cloud technology is being accessed by the web conferencing provider. So that's the first part, and that's a pretty significant step right there. These things that we've talked about, the bandwidth resolution improvements and keeping your eyes and stuff focused, like how many of us are in conferences and you're talking to somebody and they're doing different things and stuff like that. We can actually take that and look at the face and ensure that it's keeping an eye to eye or eye to camera connectivity, which is better for the communication. And so things like that are very significant. As far as completely changing the voice into a different language and stuff, maybe sometime down the road. I mean, AI is great for lots of things, but this first step is so significant and one that is being embraced by a lot of people ever since we've announced it.
So I can just imagine how it is in the R&D and with you have amazing engineers doing crazy cool stuff, and I guess a bunch of it is secret. So I can just imagine you probably have this stuff and you're just thinking what you want to release right now. So you might actually already have the thing where you can make the person speak the other language, or where you can make me talk like I'm 10 years younger. That should be easy for you, right?
Well, you know how some people like to go to Disneyland and things like that. We like to go to our R&D lab and see what's going on in there, but we're not going to talk about things that aren't out yet. So, but there's always a lot of fun things going on.
Because when you show this alien, right, and you can speak like the alien, well, the alien could just be pictures of me from 10 years ago, right? Or not really.
Maybe.
What about?
You'll have to stay tuned and see
Maybe?
how this develops,
Okay.
you know. Right now, we've got a lot on the first plate that I think is going to really revolutionize video conferencing at a time where we really need it, you know.
This is like such a huge thing, because I've been always thinking that I need fiber because I want to do 4K video conferencing with my mom. You know, like I want to do, everybody has a 4K TV. And if we could just have a little 4K webcam on there, we could do 4K video conferencing. But for that, we need fiber. We need 100 megabit upload, right? But with your technology, you might not need this.
You don't need. You actually don't need. You see here in the example that's being played how we can increase the resolution to what we call super resolution with only taking the bits of data that are changing in the image and transmitting those and then reconstructing it on the other side. You know, wherever we can, we're a company that always looks at using AI to solve problems. And this problem in the video conferencing world has been one that I think we're all experiencing globally. So we put the engineers on it and they came back with some of these tools. We started testing them out in the lab and showing people. The response has been off the charts.
I mean, it's just when I see these examples that you have there, the person at the end that's only like 100 kilobytes per second. I can't even see how small your number is. Like very small number for 720p. But this works in 4K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do lots of different things with it. It's a toolkit, and the web provider, the web video conferencing provider integrates it into their system. How they integrate it and the kinds of things they do, there's lots of variations that they can do, whether they want to go really deep or they want to just use some of the baseline tools and things like that. But immediately there will be improvements, as you're seeing here. Just some significant things like bandwidth improvement is so important for people that are video conferencing. And look, the world is a video conference these days. So the better we can make that experience, the better it's going to be for all.
So do I need to have a giant RTX 3000 generation right here so I can encode my face and send it over? Or you actually will let people do this on any device?
You can have as many as you like, but you don't need it because it's all cloud-based. So you can be on any kind of system that's talking to the technology in the cloud. So the video conferencing companies run their stuff in the cloud, and in the cloud can be our technology with GPUs to help bring this kind of AI magic to them. So you don't need the cards. You don't need to have things resident. You are basically doing what you do today, but taking advantage of this capability that's in the cloud to improve what you're doing.
So when I look at those numbers that you have in this video, it doesn't look like you're talking about 10x, but it looks like 1000x or 100x. Like it's such a small bandwidth.
We've seen some.
It's basically just like keyframes and stuff.
Yeah. There's, we've seen a lot of orders of magnitude of improvements from the things in the lab. But what we talk about is what will happen day one with it. Can you do better? Yeah, chances are there'll be better things and how the companies integrate it, things like that. But even starting with the 10x, that's a pretty big improvement. But you're right, we've seen more, and I'm sure we'll see even better down the road. It's very exciting.
So how about this stuff we're doing right here on YouTube? Wouldn't it be awesome if a company like YouTube partnered with you and say that every YouTuber can start doing 4K video conferencing with very small hardware and very little bandwidth? And
of course, we would love that.
This is what's happening now. You're talking with all these companies, right?
We are. We can't say which companies as of yet, because that's up to them to when they want to tell the world what they're doing. But I can tell you that the level of interest has been incredible. Because again, when you bring in a solution that solves a problem, the people really need it and they accept it and they want to do something with it. We're not pushing things that people don't need with this technology. This is something that we can all benefit from, because as we were talking prior to the show, we're in a world right now that is video conference based for getting our work done. And the better we can make that experience, the better the people using this technology can get their work done. So it's a real win-win. And
so the customers are like very big cloud providers, or Do you have, this is a platform, as I understand, so who are going to be the developers taking this stuff, and what are they going to be able to do with this?
Well, there are video conferencing companies that do video conferencing software. Lots of the names that we're familiar with, but none that I can talk about at this time. And they integrate it into their process. So video conferencing today, you have a webcam, it encodes it, brings it up to the cloud, video decodes it, sends it down to the display, right? So what we can do now is take that stream as they integrate our technology into their process, computer vision, apply some computer vision to that as it's in the cloud, and then encode it and send it down. So while we're doing that, the things that we can do are some of the examples that you're seeing here, whether it is reducing bandwidth, improving eye contact to the camera, reducing background noise, reducing the background imagery altogether. Maybe you have a very busy background, you don't want things in there, so you can just turn that off and have either a different background or no background.
So all I need is a little webcam with some kind of, let's say, an ARM CPU, because maybe you don't need to have a huge desktop, like a little thing, and that sends the video. It needs to have enough to be able to define where the key points are moving and stuff like that. And there's some kind of software that only sends keyframes and stuff.
Yeah, how you're doing it today doesn't change. What changes is the video conferencing technology that's running in the cloud that integrates our technology into their stream. That's what will change things. So if you're video conferencing today and the company that you're using for that video conference integrates Maxine SDK into their workflow, the benefits just happen. You just get them. Because what you're doing is capturing and displaying on the other end. What happens in the middle is what the video conferencing software does.
But you would want to save bandwidth uploading from the user, right? Do you do that, or you only save bandwidth from the cloud down to the user on the other side?
We will first look at what is being transmitted and then decide using AI what actual pixels need to be going on a steady basis. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, none of the things in the background are changing. So we wouldn't need to send those again. You've got those. But I'm moving around, I get a little animated, or I'm talking, things like that. So that information here will be transmitted. Now, because it's only transmitting that and not all of the other stuff, it's already reduced what has to go up to the cloud. Then when it's in the cloud and going down to the other end, we can rebuild it in a higher resolution, or what we call super resolution. So you get that benefit right then and there.
But you need to do computer vision at the client side of the person that streams out the video.
In the cloud. So
in the cloud.
Yes, so everything's in the cloud, and what the benefit of that is only what's being sent to the display is what's been modified using AI. So the person on the other end, like as you and I are talking, if we were using Maxine right now, you and I haven't had to change our systems at all. The system that's in the cloud that's doing this, that would have been taking advantage of Maxine, would be able to produce those results to our mutual displays.
But so how much bandwidth would I need to stream out a 4K using Maxine? Am I able to go down to those numbers you're showing there?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you're doing today, you can, we've had great results with, 360, very small kinds of things, being able to up-res and using AI and get a very crystal clear image. Because again, if you think about the problem, the solution is really narrowed around those things that are moving. And I think one of the problems that we all have with video conferencing today is it takes everything. Like every time I'm talking to you right now, because I'm not using a Maxine-based system, it's sending the pixels of my background and all the other stuff every single time it's transmitting. So every single frame, whether that's 30 or 60, you're getting that all the time. That's unnecessary. We can get rid of all that. Nothing's changing back here, just this. So let's just transmit this. Now it's already reduced. Then on the other end, we can re-put it back together because we already know what this looks like and we know what this is looking like. And so using AI, it gets reconstructed. And then the only thing that you get is the up-res display. And so it'll just look better.
So as I understand, this works great for people sitting down and doing video conferencing kind of stuff, or let's say a talking head live streaming, maybe kind of stuff. But how about this AI compression? Does it maybe work with all kinds of video, like YouTube and Netflix kind of stuff, or is it
For right now, the focus has been how can we use AI to solve a problem that we all experience with video conferencing. Certainly, there's lots of other technology that we have in the lab for lots of other things, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Maxine as a video conferencing AI-enabled SDK, cloud-based, that can help all the companies that we're working with, you know, whether we're a user of that video conferencing technology or we're a developer for that technology. So the benefit is something that we all can get. And I think that was just out of demand. You know, so many people over the past 9 months or 10 months have had this challenge of how can we improve this new world of working that we're in. And our engineers looked at it and said, this is an AI problem. We think we can solve it. And so that's what they started to do. And the results have been great.
So this is like mind-blowing for a lot of people who are very excited about technology, you know, like technology enthusiasts. And it was amazing that you launch it. How far in the future is it before this changes, you know, the world, like people start using it?
As soon as we can. We've just announced signing up for the SDK. So we've had companies since it was announced a few weeks ago, now signing up, wanting to find out more. We have developer relations and our engineers interacting with them. We expect the SDK to be in their hands in the very near future. And then once that's happening, you know, we'll start to see results depending on their development timeline. But that we've already got results that are really strong in the lab, we're very confident that this will be a pretty quick to market.
Nice. So there's all these codecs that people develop that are like H.264, H.265, AV1, all that. Do you kind of have this as a way to plug into those, or is it going to be like a standard, or is this your thing that goes on top of that, or?
Well, right now we've been working with the technology specific, but you can imagine there's been an incredible amount of interest from the video companies out there and what standards we'll support and stuff. We are discussing it with them and looking at how to implement this in those. But right now we're just talking about the technology and the streams that we're able to transmit back and forth. But we'll have more updates on that very soon.
So it's a lot to do with video conferencing companies, but do you have some other kind of ideas of what they might do with this, or?
Well, I think if we can first solve the video conferencing problems that we've all experienced, that'll be a great first step, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be amazing. Yeah. So when I was looking at this, the presentation here, it says character animation. I mean, Nvidia is like you know, the business of doing all these 3D games and more realistic and everything. Does this technology in movies, you know, and you've been working with that, right, to get all these movies get cool graphics?
You know, Nvidia is a huge AI company. If you think of us like that, yes, we started with games, and the video graphics that we've done are used today all over the industry, whether it's video games, whether it's The Mandalorian, whether it's, you know, all of that. We've become kind of the platform of choice for all of those high-end needs. But we're also AI used for autonomous driving, for robotics and simulation. We have a major platform called Omniverse, which is the world's first truly interactive collaboration and simulation platform, whereby it can be used to simulate in order to train robots, or to simulate in order to train cars. Just a whole slew of things that are going on. And our R&D team, who's the best of the best, look at problems that can be solved, whether it's using existing technology that we have, something like Jarvis, and creating these animated characters that can give you information in real time, or being able to do things like you know, applying some AI technology like we've done here with Maxine, and solve a problem that, like I said, we've all had. I mean, the beauty of this is, you know, it came from necessity. We've all just had one too many calls where people are like that, and you're like, can't we fix this? And our engineers said, yeah, let's go fix this. And it's exactly what they've been doing.
So when I see you talking about realistic character animation, and we went a little bit on it just before, where I was talking about like talking as myself as 10 years younger, or let's say is this related with the potential future where I can have customized personal assistants? You know, like when people do all these Hey Google and Alexa and all that stuff, and then suddenly you can have faces animated and kind of like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's a technology library that we have. We showed, as you see on the screen there, a character that we created called Misty, and we could interact with her in real time and get weather and information and stuff like that. And basically what that's using is our conversational AI toolkit and a back end of the web to be able to access information and be able to provide it out in an interactive way. Again, as a toolkit that can be used by others, and that is currently one of the things that we're talking with developers about in a different space. But here for Maxine, we're really focusing on improving the experience of video conferencing, improving the effective, how effective we can be when we're communicating across the globe in different languages. How can we resolve some of the problems that are persistent, whether it's noise in the background, whether it's bandwidth or busy backgrounds, et cetera. And those as a first step in this kind of a platform is a major success once we get those things implemented. As far as where it goes, while we don't talk about future products, it's always fun to stay tuned, always fun to watch our GTCs where you get to kind of get a sneak peek of the future. And that's what I would encourage you to do. We just had one a few weeks ago. There'll be more to come. And really, that's where you get to see the sneak peek of what's coming in the future.
As I understand, there's a different segment called Jarvis, right, at Nvidia that does the kind of like personal assistant kind of AI stuff. Yeah. But it's like a little bit the dream that I'm having, where I'd like to have my a family person or friend be my personal assistant as just based on a bunch of pictures, and then also with voice recordings, and you start talking with their voice, and then you have also even the way they think and having. I'm just thinking that suddenly this kind of stuff is a little bit related. I don't know if
there's places that go. I suggest, learning some more about it. We have a great online thing called DLI, our Deep Learning Institute, where we train on all these types of technologies that we have. So maybe you've got another life as a developer with these great ideas and you can implement some of this stuff, or maybe somebody that will.
That's really cool. And it's exciting to see so much bandwidth can be saved, the quality can be upscaled. Gone up, so that's really awesome to see this stuff coming out, and I hope you get a lot of deals with all the major, and so I can stream in higher quality. I really want to stream in 4K, but it's not easy with just with the computer, the encoding. Need to have some smart way of. One thing I'm wondering is, are you planning to have some kind of branding on this? Because people might think that the person is a little bit, I'm not going to say fake, right? But there's like some kind of rendering and stuff that happens. So maybe there should be like a branding so people always know that this is rendered kind of face.
Yeah, I think that we provide the toolkit. It's up to the web conferencing company on how they're going to implement that and do that. I think our intent, as are the companies that we've talked to, are about solving problems, and that's really the focus. So I think at that point, there may not need to be any branding on it. It may just be, we give a better experience by using NVIDIA technology, and that's that. Where it goes from there, we'll see.
Yeah, it's especially when all people have all these crazy ideas, when they start to, I'm not going to say impersonate other people or just modify something, then maybe at that point there needs to be an industry standard for what it should be called, like an enhanced experience, what do you want to call it?
There's always going to be that kind of element of things like that going on. And I know there are companies out there looking today at how to ensure that the purity of what's being transmitted is what's going on, and that fakes and things like that are not a part of it. But again, that's not really the target of Maxine. Maxine is about solving problems that we all experience with video conferencing and how that can be improved with AI.
All right, so thanks a lot for talking about this. This is awesome. It's great to hear how a little bit about how this works. And looking forward to doing a very easy 4K video conferencing with everybody, with the bandwidth that everybody has. We'll reconnect in a few months and let's do that. Cool. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.